Hello everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to sew a zero waste soap net. Using this soap net will really get your soap all bubbly when you use it. You can see how much foam is coming out of the soap, and storing the soap in this bag helps keep it dry. You'll only need the very basic sewing tools like a pair of scissors, a small needle, some sewing thread, some yarn to use as a drawstring, and some scrap tulle or net fabric to use for the bag itself. And we're going to make it a double layered bag because that helps get the soap really foamy. So the fabric is 28 inches long, and you're going to fold it to make it 14 inches long and 6 inches wide. And then we're going to sew along the 14-inch edges on both sides. Now I'm going to show you the 2 stitches that you will need for this project. You're going to need to learn backstitch, which is a really secure stitch that doesn't unravel so easily. So you come up from behind the fabric, you push your needle through, and then you sew backwards. You push your needle to the back of the fabric, and then you take 2 steps forward and come up to the front of the fabric, and then you push your needle through 1 step backward. So this is a stitch you need to do basically step by step, and it's a slow stitch. So we're going to speed things up towards the middle of the seam. We're going to use running stitch, which is going in and out, all in one direction. So it's really quick. Now let's start on the actual fabric itself. I'm going to do a couple of back stitches because that really keeps the thread from running away, especially if you're working with like a loosely woven fabric like net or tulle. Now towards the middle of the seam, I'm just doing running stitch, going in and out with my needle and getting several stitches before pulling them through. Now when the 2 seams are done, you'll have a long bag. So now we have to flip it inside out, and we're going to make sure that all the corners and edges are nicely turned. What we are doing is basically enclosing the raw edges of the fabric inside so that they won't fray, and that's very important in sewing. We have one last side here, the short side, that has not been enclosed. So what we're going to do is take the fabric and we're going to pinch it, and we're going to push the raw edges inside and make a nice straight edge, and we're going to whip stitch it close. And whip stitch is basically like looping over the edges of the fabric. You want to sew as close to the side as possible. So what we're doing is going from back to front and pulling the thread, then looping it over the sides. We're going from back to front again, and we're going to do it all the way down the fabric. What we have now is a rectangle of fabric with all the raw edges enclosed. Take the short edges of the fabric, fold it back by 3/4 of an inch, and sew a drawstring channel. You'd want to use backstitch to make sure that it's really secure. Make sure that both your drawstring channels are folded to the same side of the fabric. Now take that side and fold it in half. Now we're going to sew the last 2 side seams to complete the bag, and we're going to be using whip stitch, and we're going to be sewing as close to the sides of the bag as possible so that your whip stitches are nearly invisible. Make sure that you don't sew the drawstring channels closed but leave them open. Now the last thing I'm going to do is insert the drawstrings. You can use ribbon or yarn, it's up to you. I'm using an embroidery needle to thread the yarn through the drawstring channels. Tie your drawstring closed and you're done. You've just made a beautiful soap bag. Feel free to use this design to make like shopping bags or storage bags. You can use a sewing machine if you want, but you don't need one if you don't have one. And enjoy using your soap bag. It really makes the soap really bubbly. If you like this video, do check out my tutorials. I have some soap making videos, and do like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. I will be making more zero waste videos in the future. Bye!